I find myself asking these questions about myself quite frequently lately, and I think about one of the all time great characters who did this was in Avatar: The Last Airbender, Uncle Iroh. There's a scene in it where he yells at Zuko, "Who are you and what do you want?" Right? It's time to ask yourself these questions. And at one point, I thought I knew the answer to some of these, but really, the problem was, right. So the problem was, I really believed that in order to live a life that I wanted, that I thought in my mind was the ideal life, where I can just pick up any activity, go on any experience, visit other countries, go out to eat anytime I want, not have to worry about money problems, relationship problems, and just in general, just be happy, right? I think at the end of the day, we all just want to try and be happy. And so the problem I was running into is I thought I don't have the required systems, tools, or general knowledge to accomplish this kind of life that I wanted to live. And I'll be honest. There's here's a little bit of a confession. I spent so much time trying out all these different things. So I went and I looked after a whole bunch of different eras. So one of these was like books, right? Like, so show your work, Austin Kleon, one of the go to. If you haven't read it's great. It teaches you exactly how to show your work in a social media world. And it wasn't just there. I bought business books, right? So Gary Vaynerchuk, 12 and a half emotional steps, right? And then I think this is his latest one, the day trading attention, right? These are all publications designed and geared towards this new media and people who want to create content in it and build businesses out of it. So I went deep into this research cycle about 2 and 3 years, and it wasn't just books, right? Like I've created some systems. So I'm gonna share some of those here. So I myself have created some systems. I'll go ahead and paste that. Like here's one of them that I made, right? So very simple. It's what you see everywhere else. It's a clipping system. You throw up your video, you create a clip. It's great. It uses, at this day and age, it uses AI to go against your transcript, find your exciting moments, and post it for you. Right? Really great. I've had this system. I thought if I wanted to create content, I needed a system, and not only that, but I went through and I said, okay, well now that I have my system built, I need a place for it to live. Right? So I even went through and I said, okay, well, let's create places for our content to live because I thought that is what I needed. And in all of this, right, in building all of these things, doing all this research, and it's not only this stuff. I looked at live streaming content, right? Devin Nash, amazing resource. Ashley Christ, another great online content creator, producer. These are people who have been in the field of marketing, live streaming space. They've written books about it. They had master classes, all of this cool stuff, and it's great information. I was using to think that once I know all of this, my life that I wanted will just magically reveal itself. Where at some point it will all just click and I'll be in a place where I was truly happy and didn't have to worry. And so what was funny is I came to a realization, right? Um, I thought the things I wanted were president on, or president were dependent on these things that I learned. And what happened was I started finding myself asking questions like, let's go, asking questions like, am I driven by material things? Do I want the money? Do I want the status? Do I want the fancy dinners? Do I want, right, like the ability to pick up that plane ticket that I was talking about earlier? Is that what drives my happiness? Or was it spiritual, right? Spiritual. Yeah, spiritual. Did I want to learn myself better? Did I want to I remember one time I went to a a what do you call them? A psychic, right? So there was a time where my partner, she wanted to go and see a psychic, see what's up, right? Whatever your thoughts on it, we went. What's funny is that one of the things that happened where one of my grandmothers came through and the psychic said, "Hey, your grandma suggests that you should go back to church, get back in touch with your spiritual side." And I thought I've thought about that instance. It happened what 6 years ago now. It was right, probably right at the start of the pandemic, right before everyone started, maybe a year before that. And so that's something I thought about, right? And I started to think about. And the last one was like societal. Am I actually working on something? Am I actually doing content because I want to, or because I think that's the new wave of work? Where do I think this idea of being a content creator and a streamer is the next step? And I'm not alone in this, right? So what's interesting is that I'll copy this here and I'll paste it. What's interesting is that there was a survey in 2024, right, when they asked around 2,000 parents on what their kids want to be when they grow up. And what's funny is 11.9% of them said they want to be some sort of content creator, a streamer, right, a YouTuber. And it is happening. COVID saw a huge bump in these live streams across all platforms. Social media content in general is on the up and up still. And so I thought, okay, if I ask myself who I am, what do I want? Is it because I actually want it, or is it because it's a trend in society right now that I'm just trying to follow? Right. And so at the end of the day, I realized I'm thinking and I'm thinking and I'm researching and I'm trying to learn. And all this theory without proper application is just noise. I'm not doing anything to move towards what I think is my ultimate goal of just wanting to be happy. And so a part of this leads me to think of a couple things, right? So if I were to look at myself, if I were to ask myself these questions, one thing is I noticed all of the stuff I've been doing at the end of the day is just procrastination, right? I'm just procrastinating. I didn't want to. I don't know how to spell it. That's fine. I didn't want to look procrastination. I didn't want to look and confront on what it is that I actually wanted, right? So I never asked myself, is content creation what I actually want, right? I never even sat and thought about it because I never gave myself that time. And I thought, am I doing this just because, like, what would people think? Am I doing this again because this is the trend in where we think the next buck is to be made? Is this am I not actually acting upon the things I've learned because I'm afraid of what people think? Right? There's kind of a whole bunch of different angles here, and so I haven't thought about it. I haven't thought about the transition. I'm kind of stuck in between two areas, right? I've done the research, I've done all of the thought behind it, but I haven't done the actual actions and participated in the event. I'm kind of stuck in between these two places in this liminal space. And I'm reminded of a quote or a reply from an Austrian poet, Rook, I think his name was, and in his book, I think it's like a letters to a young poet is what the book's called, and so in it there's a collection of letters, and one of them, a young cadet officer asks for advice from Rook, and the response is, "Hey, currently, the young cadet was like going through a breakup or something. He was trying to figure out how does he transition from being in a relationship to now not, right? This new kind of reality that he lives in." And so Rook's advice was, you're standing in a place where you can no longer stand. And the future has yet to take hold. So it is in this moment where you must be lonely and attentive, Because when you are in that moment and you're lonely and attentive, that is when the future comes to you, right? And I think about that quote a lot recently, and to kind of bastardize that framework, right? I'm in a spot where my past is behind me. I've done the research. I don't want to do any of that anymore. My future is not yet here. And I'm in that liminal space. I'm in that moment where if I'm lonely and attentive, I am truly hoping to answer the question of who am I and what do I want? Because right now, I honestly don't know. And so I'm hoping to do a couple things, right? So with this channel, what this channel is, with this channel, I'm hoping to do a few things. One, this is just a video diary, right? To myself. This is a place where I can go look at the things I talk about, look at the things I discuss. And I know I am going to contradict myself. I know I'm going to say one thing one day and totally do a 180 the next. I'm going to have no answers. Look where I am right now. I'm going to have absolutely no answers to who I am, what I want. And the next day, I'm going to think I have it all figured out only for it to come crashing down again. And I'm okay with that. I think that's the whole point of this channel, of this video diary to myself, as I try and figure out who I am and what I want.